Hello. Or Twit Talks Cars. Can you believe episode 5 of Old Twit's pre-classic predictions? I can't believe it. How did we get here so quickly? Anyway, hope you've been enjoying it. If you have, hopefully you like this one. So today we are talking about the slightly controversial Ford Cougar. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it and see what you think. So in the time-honoured fashion, I'm just going to give you a quick reminder of the criteria that we use to judge these cars by. So let's skip through that. What I'd also say is please have a look at the other iterations of this little series, and the playlist can be found here, and I'll probably scatter some of the individual links to the videos throughout this one, so feel free to take a look. More of the same, different cars. Welcome your input and your suggestions. Keep them polite. Ford Cougar was produced and sold in the European market between 1998 and 2002, and sold in Canada and the United States from 1999 to 2002 as the Mercury Cougar. The car was originally intended to be the third generation Probe, but after rationalisation of the 3 coupes available in the United States, the Probe name was dropped in favour of the Cougar. The Cougar was Ford's second attempt at reintroducing a sports coupe into Europe in the same vein as the successful but long absent Capri, the first attempt having been the Mazda MX-6 based Probe. Just as the Capri had been based on the Cortina, the Cougar was based on the large family car available at the time, the Mondeo. It went on sale in Europe in December 98 to mixed reviews, partly due to the then new and controversial New Edge styling, a crisp style which was subsequently applied to most of the Ford range. Unlike its famous forebear, the Capri, Cougar sales were never brisk, despite good reports of the model as a driver's car. In England, Ford unveiled the car in July 1998 at the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. The television advert featured the silver model driven by Dennis Hopper due to his appearance in the film Easy Rider. At the same time, Stephen Wolf's hit from 1968, Born to be Wild, played as this was featured in the film, and the same scene the advertisement recreated. The Cougar was retired from the European market in August 2002 after its demise in England in February 2001. After the first 2 years of production, only 12,000 units reportedly had been sold in the UK. Cougar came equipped with a 2-litre 16-valve Z-Tech giving 129 brake horsepower, or the 2.5-litre 24-valve Duratec V6 engine pumping out a slightly brawnier 168 brake horsepower. There were just 2 specification levels, largely equivalent to a Mondeo gear, the standard one, and a Gear X, simply the X. Manual and automatic transmissions were available, and all variants came with 16-inch alloy wheels as standard. An X-Pack was available on the larger engine. This included leather upholstered and heated front seats with 6-way electrical adjustment on the driver's seat, and a Ford 6-speaker stereo with 6 CD auto changer. Available at extra cost and not included in the X-Pack were heated windscreen, electric tilt slide sunroof and metallic paint. Things to know about the Ford Cougar. Well, owners report hopeless rear headroom and harsh, crashy ride with quite a few rattles even when the car was new. The 2.5 V6 lacks low down torque because it's a relatively low capacity for a V6 engine. And the red line starts at 7,000 RPM, so these cars need to be rode along a little bit. However, despite all this, reports are of a decent drive of a relaxed coupe tourer type of car, which would suit this vehicle perfectly. Fairly heavy tyre wear on the 2.5 V6 and an unusual size 215/50/16 tyre should be watched out for, and these were originally specifically made for the Cougar by Pirelli and Michelin, and probably, I'd imagine, quite expensive. Door mirrors are prone to just snap off because they're not sprung in any way, so that can happen. And it had to be said, in 2002, this was the car that was 8th from bottom in the 144 cars listed in the JD Power What Car Customer Satisfaction Survey of V and W Reg cars. Despite all that, this car is a retro of its time Ford Coupe, and in the hands of a loving and knowledgeable owner, there is no reason why a well cared for example shouldn't give pleasure, reliability and a very good medium-term fiscal return. So here we are in how many left.co.uk, and as you see, I've put Ford Cougar in the search bar. Hit search, and I've got a nice neat little set of results that have come up, which is good. The Cougar range was always fairly basic in terms of the different iterations, so that always helps when you're looking for these numbers. So you'll see the entry Cougar 128, Cougar 2 65, Cougar 2 Auto 24, Cougar V6, which is by far and away the most common model, 510, Cougar V6 Auto 93, Cougar VX V6, not quite sure what that is, 94, and Cougar VX V6 Auto, none. Now what's amazing here is if you look at the V6, which is the most common one clearly, that's gone from a high of 5,300 in 2010 down to 510 in 2019. So let's see how many of those, if there's many, that are actually on Sawn. So 2019 Q4, so there's 510 on the road and there's 786 on Sawn. So there is quite a few more around. There's certainly more on Sawn than there is on the road, but they're getting nicely rare, these cars, so that's only going to push the values up over time. Here we are in eBay cars again, Ford Cougar in. I don't know why there's an S-Max in there, we'll ignore that. A couple of cars I wanted to jump to and have a look here. One is a very good example of the mark, I think. So let's jump in and have a look at that. £1,600, so this is sold in on the 13th of June, so not even a month ago. One owner, 58,000 miles, full service history, Ford Cougar in immaculate condition. So I would say that this, I'm looking at this one because it's potentially sort of top of the market at the moment. What I do want to check though before we get into this is what model it is. Oh, it's the 2.5 V6, so it is the V6 2.5, which is clearly the one to go for. It's in black, it's nice and shiny, it lives on a farm by the looks of things. Paintwork looks good, sides look straight. I think they're the original wheels as far as I can tell. Rear wiper, I mean they're an interesting shape. I mean you quite clearly see the American influence of the time in these. You've got quite a weird sort of long back boot and a very sloping demeanour from back to front. But you know, again, it's a Ford, it's a coupe. Look at the Capris. Not everyone loved those cars when they were current, and now they're fetching mad money. So these have got to go that way, especially with a nice creamy V6. I mean, it does look nice and well cared for, doesn't it? Very shiny indeed. They've just got the most massive hatch, haven't they? I mean, look at it. It's almost twice as long as the bonnet. They've got a huge boot, unnecessarily huge, I'd say, in a coupe of this nature. I mean, there's more room in the boot than there is in the cab, which is unusual. Very clean alloys. They look like they've been refurbed. Calipers looking a bit rusty. Cheap tyres, but can't have everything. Ah, nice leather. Shame it picture's the wrong way around, so stretch your neck there. I mean, they're quite nice in leather here. You've got a little cup holder in the middle. You have to fight over that if you're in the back. Got interestingly sculpted seats, but you've got perforated, nice black perforated leather, which looks good. And they're like big squishy comfy armchairs by the looks of things here, and this is a manual one, so you've got a 2.5 V6 manual here. They pump out from memory about 168 brake horsepower or something like that. so probably go reasonably well. Very clean, very straight in here. I mean, it's a bit of a typically boring Ford interior and dash, but very much of its time. Oh, look, you've got your temporary space saver wheel. Not as well cared for under the bonnet. I mean, all this needs a bit of wire brushing. This needs a bit of rubber and vinyl care. That would clean up beautifully though, wouldn't it? 24 valve, 2.5 litre V6 Duratec engine. So got a nice new battery by the looks of things, so that all's looking good under there. 2 keys, service history, beautiful. So let's jump in quickly to the description. Selling for my stepdad, 2.5 V6, and it's a manual over we've seen. He bought this from new and has looked after it for 20 years. No one has even sat in the back seats. They too look very clean. As you can see from the pictures, in very good condition. It's done just under 58,000 miles, full leather, full service history by Sandycliff, which is a main Ford dealer. Last service at 57,200 and we're on 58 now. Just had MOT on the 11th of the 620. I've seen these cars go for £2,000 to £4,000. Yeah, I mean they will start to. Not as good condition as this. I do think it is a great condition car, this one. Quick sale, buy it now at £1,600. First to see will buy. BBB, yeah, so that's great. I mean, that is, I would say, top of the market. Low mileage, manual V6, leather, up trim, black, which is always popular. So yeah, I mean, 1,600 quid. So that was that one. There was another one here, which was, I wanted to look at one of these X-Pack ones. Okay, so let's have a quick look-see at this one. So one at 1,200 quid, 12 bids, so quite a lot of interest still. Is the manual, V6 again, Amazon green. I'm not awfully keen on green cars, but some people don't mind them. Again, it's of its time, but yeah, Amazon green. Sounds like a place, Amazon green, doesn't it? Beautiful pictures again. Leather. This has got different leather. Looks different. That's nice and clean under there. Looking good. Paintwork looks alright. All very original. Interesting, they all seem to have new batteries on them, which is good. I'm not knocking it, but the other one was an RAC as well, which suggests that the old ones fail quite a bit. 85,911 miles. Yeah, I mean, that colour wouldn't be for me, I have to say, but all looks clean and tidy. 2001 Ford Cougar. Oh, it's the Cougar 2, which is why the seats are a bit different from the other one we looked at. 170 brake, 2.5 manual, Amazon green, comes with X-Pack. So X-Pack includes heated seats, driver's electrically adjustable seat. It's got the 6-disc CD player, an optional rear spoiler. Other features include heated windscreen, climate control and electric mirrors. Alloy wheels with nearly new tyres. It's been well maintained. Oil is clear. Sadly, service book has been lost. Mileage is low. Okay, it looks like it's been serviced, doesn't it, and looked after. Bodywork is rust free and very good for age. MOT till January 2021. Runs and drives very well. Cash on collection. Car comes with handbook and sales brochure. I love having the sales brochure. 4 previous owners between 2001 and 2006. The third owner was from 2006 to 2016 and the fourth owner from 2016 to 2020 when I bought it. Let's just have a quick look at those tyres. Were they there? I'm going to see what the tyres are. I'm obsessed with cheap tyres. I can't see. Probably a good thing. Yeah, they're cheap ones. Chinese ones, I think. Anyway, 1,200 quid. So there you go. Get yourself a nice Amazon green Ford Cougar, and in certain lights they look alright, but definitely an appreciating classic to get involved with. So, what do you think? An interesting car? I think you'll agree. So it's time for scoring. So let's have a look at how that car scores. So for first category is cost. So as you'll have seen on eBay, we were looking at cars that were around £1,000 to £1,500. So they fit well within our £2,000 nominal budget. So for cost, I give the Ford Cougar a 7. I think on average you would get cars coming up in our within our nominal ceiling of 100,000 miles. So again, for the Cougar, I give it a 7 for mileage. In terms of rarity, on how many left, I think there are around 800 across all the different model iterations, and some of those models were pretty rare, some more common, but all bundled together there's only 800 of these cars left. So I think that's still a pretty rare car, however not so rare that you're not going to be able to find spared. So I think that's a good sort of number. It works well for us, and consequently I'm going to give this car a 6 for rarity. Plus factor as well. Okay, I mean, to my eyes at least, it's not a great looking car, and I'm not sure it's a brilliant driver's car. Personality wise, yeah, probably quite a quirky car. Most of these cars are, and I think they'd be a reasonable drive but not a sporty one. So I do admit that this car is a little bit harder to score highly on plus factor. So for that reason and that reason alone, I'm going to give it a fairly paltry 4 for plus factor. In terms of usability, again, it's a 2-door coupe. What it has got in its favour, it's got a massive boot, which you will have seen from the B-roll. Rear headroom is a problem, so I think really it is a 2-seater unless you've got really small kids or toddlers or small dogs that you could put in the back. So I don't think it can get really a full and decent score for usability on those grounds. So I've given this car for usability a 5. So that gives our Ford Cougar a total of 29 points out of 50, so it's okay. However, what I would say to you is look at the Capri, look at all the early Fords like the XR2, look at the Mark 1 Escorts, Mark 1 Fiestas. Fords are big news, I think, for usable and reasonable value classics. So this car can only go the same way. So I would get involved while the prices are still low. I think it's a good bet if you're prepared to hang on to it for a year or two and potter about in it. So get involved and see how you get on. I'd love to know how it goes for you. I'd love your comments. So please stick some comments down below, give it a thumbs up if you like it, and obviously if you want to see more of these, please feel free to subscribe. So take care, and I'll see you next time.